he's about to be chucked out of the States.
Their hand has been forced.
We've got this migrant crisis going on the South Coast. Now they're coming across from America as well. Got these two migrants, Harry and Meghan. Now that really, really is a crisis.
You can't control them. And in this instance, they're showing you that they can't be controlled, and they refuse to be controlled. Planning on staying in the United Kingdom for, I don't know, maybe a year before they head over to Australia.
Prince Harry could be getting ready to turn his back on America, and this time, Meghan may not be packing her bags beside him. What first sounded like a united Sussex return to Britain is beginning to resemble two completely separate escape plans. Harry is reportedly looking toward the English countryside, a permanent base, and lengthy stays on British soil. Meghan still has her mansion, her business ambitions, and the California identity she spent years constructing. Now, one uncomfortable question threatens the entire story. Does Harry genuinely want to go home, or has the continuing uncertainty surrounding his American immigration records made Britain his safest way out?
She's based in the United States and he's based here.
Before we get into today's story, I wanted to let you know that I finally launched my Patreon. Many of you have been asking for more royal family content, so that's exactly what I'll be posting there. Exclusive investigations, bonus videos, breaking royal news, and members-only discussions that won't be available on YouTube. If you're interested, you'll find the link in the description. Now, let's get into today's story. This is no longer reading like a warm family homecoming. It looks more like a marriage preparing for life on two continents. Harry could settle into Britain while Meghan remains firmly rooted in the United States. Two temporary homes can turn into two permanent lives. And the couple that once insisted they move together like salt and pepper may soon be divided by an ocean. Competing careers, enormous bills, and two futures that no longer appear to match. So what is pushing Harry toward Britain now? Why would Meghan hold on so tightly to the country he may be preparing to leave?
He even had a location in mind, the Cotswolds, the rolling English countryside close to his father's honeystoned home of Highgrave, whereas former staff have told me Harry was happy as a teenager and young man. He knows the area with an intimacy that only years of embedded familiarity can produce. He drank in its pubs with William in easier times, at the Rattlebone Inn, among others, where the brothers are said to have smoked in the days where their relationship allowed for such fraternal adventures. He lost his virginity in a field behind another local pub. The Cotswolds is home, and that is where he wants to be.
And if their celebrated comeback begins with different addresses, different routines, and different priorities, can anyone seriously call it a shared comeback? The confusion surrounding the move was the first clue that something did not add up. Initially, the story sounded clear and dramatic. Harry and Meghan were supposedly preparing for an extended return to Britain, a new property outside London, and perhaps the closing of their American chapter.
We also know that Prince Harry has been really miserable for quite a long time.
Absolutely. But as long as Harry was miserable and Meghan had the whip hand, she would go, and he would have to keep in his space. He doesn't have to keep in his space anymore because the dynamics have changed.
Then the details immediately began falling apart. Was this a permanent relocation, a 6-month experiment, or a year-long arrangement? Would Montecito remain their main home? Was Britain merely being added to a complicated circuit that already includes America and Portugal? There is still no clean answer. With Harry and Meghan, every fresh detail seems to contradict the last. They are returning, yet keeping California.
Heritage Foundation have been running a long-running campaign to make Harry's visa application transparent, that the American people should be allowed to see whether or not this guy told the truth about his consumption on his visa application to live in America 6 years ago, because subsequent to filling that form out, he wrote his spiteful little book Spare, in which he said he was a very keen,
user.
They want a British home, yet may not live there full-time. Harry reportedly wants rural England, while Meghan's commercial plans remain centered in America. This is not one decisive relocation. It is a collection of backup doors, each leading in a different direction. Then came the detail that made the entire situation look far more serious. Harry could spend weeks or even months in Britain without Meghan. One proposed version of their future has Harry establishing himself in the Cotswolds, while Meghan stays in California whenever work demands it.
I did wonder if this is a permanent move or not.
I don't think it is.
You can't trust their word anymore.
Well, that's the point, isn't it?
I think that it's very unfair to expect British taxpayers to pay for Harry and Meghan's schizophrenic behavior.
That arrangement has been described as though an 8-hour time difference and an entire ocean were ordinary scheduling issues. When a husband and wife begin building separate everyday lives for months at a time, the marriage itself begins to operate differently. Harry's side of the plan sounds surprisingly developed. He reportedly prefers the English countryside to central London, knows the Cotswolds well, and feels comfortable there.
At first, they told you they were moving to Canada. Then they decided to move to the United States at the last minute. I'm hearing reports that they are planning on staying in the United Kingdom for, I don't know, maybe a year before they head over to Australia. You know, why should you have to pay for these two people that are totally undisciplined and can't and won't commit to anything?
Even the unresolved security battle is apparently not enough to stop him. That does not sound like a homesick prince arranging a longer holiday. It sounds like someone preparing the ground for a genuine return. Meghan's place in that picture is far less convincing. Her willingness to spend time in Britain appears to depend on whether the country can offer her useful work. If it does not, California remains the obvious base. Harry's motivation therefore seems personal, emotional, and increasingly urgent. Meghan's looks conditional and commercial.
They don't have any amount of money coming in. Let's remember, all the money that came in was basically as a result of Harry. Meghan may have cut the deals, but Harry's existence is the one that made the deals possible.
If Britain cannot deliver income, influence, or a carefully managed public relaunch, what reason does she have to remain there? Her rumored British acting comeback has already shown how uncertain that plan is. Reports connecting her to a possible part in The Gentleman were quickly followed by claims that the idea had collapsed amid a furious reaction, while other accounts insisted conversations had not ended. The only firm conclusion is that no role has been confirmed.
It could only be 6 months or a year, and absolutely, Kins, I read that, then Australia. What's this, a world tour, so that they can find themselves eventually somewhere where people go, okay, but I just think there's no... I don't think they grasp, not just in England, across the world, the depth of anger that people feel.
Meghan does not currently have a dependable British career waiting to justify a permanent move. Her lifestyle brand is also tied to the American market and to the polished California image she created after leaving royal life. She can preserve Montecito, keep her American network, and visit Britain only when a contract, appearance, or publicity opportunity makes the journey worthwhile. Harry, meanwhile, can pursue the British future he appears to have missed for years.
Had there not been a financial problem, there would have been less of an... Meghan would have had no motivation to come back, but she needs to come back with Harry because she can't be separated from Harry because she's not making money on her own.
Totally.
Even without anything else, that division would invite serious questions about their relationship. But the American visa controversy has resurfaced at precisely the moment Harry appears to be creating a British landing place. That timing is extremely difficult to dismiss. A long-running effort has sought the release of documents connected to Harry's immigration status, focusing on whether information supplied during the process matched disclosures he later made publicly.
A friend of Harry's told me in the spring of 2026, if he doesn't get the security, he will just go house hunting anyway.
18 documents are said to remain withheld. There has been no official ruling that Harry must leave America, and no confirmed decision canceling his ability to stay. Yet the continued secrecy has allowed a damaging possibility to grow. Is Harry preparing a British base because he no longer feels completely secure about his long-term future in the United States? One commentator even raised the possibility that Harry could be chucked out of America. That is speculation, not an established result.
By allowing Meghan's possible involvement in The Gentleman to become public before anything was even finalized, completely blew up. Absolutely unbelievable how the turnaround happened within less than 24 hours.
But uncertainty can influence major decisions long before any formal order arrives. If private records face additional examination, if the questions refuse to disappear, and if his residency remains sensitive, arranging a reliable second home is not irrational. And what could offer a safer fallback to a prince whose American experiment suddenly feels less certain than Britain? The very country he walked away from, the family relationships he exposed to the world.
There's no other billionaire lining up. You know, she is damaged goods in a whole load of ways. So she has to cling on. She has to swallow her pride. And this is a woman who, above anything else, is strategic.
Britain, once described as unsafe and unbearable, now appears useful again. The countryside he abandoned is suddenly comforting. Proximity to the royal family looks far more valuable when total dependence on California begins to feel risky. For Meghan, however, Harry's possible retreat creates a brutal choice. America is the stage on which she reinvented herself as a producer, host, entrepreneur, and lifestyle personality. Why would she willingly leave the country where she can control the setting and follow Harry to the place where nearly every move will be challenged? That conflict may be the real purpose of the two-home arrangement.
It's a complete change in the dynamic between this couple. You know, Salt and Pepper always used to be together, ended up actually not really wanting anything to do with each other as misery took over the house in Montecito. Then, of course, we come to your bombshell reporting, which is that Meghan found text messages on Prince Harry's phone, which suggested that he may be too close to another woman in Montecito. So I think we can definitely say that if the marriage had been happy, and of course there's a whole load of factors that go into that, you know, betrayal, but also finances, then they wouldn't be on their way back.
Harry gets Britain. Meghan protects America. Publicly, it can be presented as flexibility, global work, and the reality of an international marriage. Everyday routines happen apart. Difficult moments are handled apart. Friends, habits, and loyalties develop apart. Once that pattern lasts long enough, separation no longer feels like a temporary inconvenience. It simply becomes normal life.
Harry and Meghan Markle were secretly planning to move to the UK for months with or without security.
The change is especially dramatic because Harry and Meghan once made total unity the foundation of their image. They arrived together, spoke together, and framed every controversial decision as a joint mission. Now Harry's British future can be described through specific locations and timelines, while Meghan's involvement is reduced to whether a business opportunity appears. That is not the partnership they once advertised. The balance has clearly shifted. Money could be accelerating that shift.
The American State Department is pretty close to saying, yes, the Heritage Foundation are right, the American people should see this. So it is possible that Harry's alleged potential lies on his visa form are about to be exposed.
Montecito is not a modest property that can be locked up and forgotten. Estimates have placed its yearly running costs, including a possible mortgage, property taxes, insurance, staff, landscaping, utilities, and constant maintenance, at approximately $1 to $1.5 million before substantial private security bills. Preserving a vast California estate while acquiring a new British home means funding two extremely expensive lifestyles.
The State Department is reviewing nearly 300 documents relating to Prince Harry's immigration application. That's nearly 2,500 pages worth of documents.
Say that again.
There is also their reported property connection in Portugal. Add frequent flights, employees, advisors, legal costs, and security across several countries, and the simple return home begins to resemble an international financial operation. And if Harry's royal name remains the strongest commercial asset in the household, can Meghan afford for him to withdraw from public American life and rebuild his independence in Britain?
Why they're coming back, because there's something we don't know here. I think there's an element that nobody knows yet.
The date of Harry's possible return also raises complicated financial questions. Staying away from Britain for more than 5 complete tax years may have helped him cross one threshold involving gains accumulated abroad. Yet returning after roughly 6 years, instead of remaining away for 10, could mean losing other advantages, affecting foreign income and assets. Still, the contradiction is revealing.
That's one of the reasons they've come hot-footing it back to Britain. He's about to be chucked out of the States.
The move might benefit Harry in one area while costing him heavily in another. Was the timing carefully designed, or has another pressure forced him to act before the ideal financial moment? If it was calculated, the emotional homecoming looks strategic. If it was rushed, something may have made his American exit suddenly urgent. That uncertainty goes to the heart of the power struggle inside the marriage.
Was being floated as just a professional separation.
It was always more than that.
Yeah, yeah. And I mean, I really don't see Meghan actually taking her claws out of Harry unless she finds something bigger and better. And I'm not sure that she has the attributes to find something either bigger or better. Or quite frankly, I don't know. I don't think even my gardener would want to be tainted with an association with her.
Meghan may have directed deals and carefully controlled the Sussex image, but Harry's title, history, and royal relationships open doors that would otherwise have stayed closed. Yet every step Harry takes toward an independent British life could reduce Meghan's influence over his schedule, his relationships, and ultimately, his decisions. Does Meghan follow him simply to keep the partnership together? Does she remain in California to protect the identity and independence she fought to build?
British public will not stand for it. Absolutely not stand for it.
They are so deeply unpopular, and they are going to face a lot of rejection, and they're going to face a lot of harsh criticism. And we know how sensitive Meghan Markle is, period. Not can be, just typically is. I mean, she did 6 hours of Netflix complaining about the British media. Does she really think that her big return is going to be celebrated? Absolutely not.
Or do they attempt both arrangements and discover that neither functions properly? Meghan may not want Britain, but she may want even less to see Harry establish a permanent life there that no longer revolves around her. Harry's proposed return also crashes straight into the security problem. When the couple left royal duties, they lost automatic access to the state protection they previously received. Harry challenged the arrangement but did not secure the complete result he wanted.
We also have to think about whether it is realistic financially for Meghan to keep the house in Montecito. Of course, there have been suggestions now for some time that she wants an off-market sale, and that is one of the reasons why she was sort of touting her new kitchen.
Future protection may still be assessed according to specific risks. Yet returning as a private citizen does not magically restore the round-the-clock royal security package he once knew. Former senior government figures have floated a narrower compromise, such as temporary or limited protection instead of a permanent operation. In practice, it depends on what Harry is prepared to accept. Would he tolerate official support only at selected events? Would private guards be enough during ordinary days?
Their problem is it's never been one way or the other. They muddy the waters and change their opinions, I think, depending on what they want.
They want their cake and they want to eat it too. Like, they want to have the royal titles, they want to be able to sell their brand and monetize it, but they don't want any of the responsibilities that come from it.
Would he keep a lower profile? Or would each outing trigger another public argument over the level of protection he believes his position deserves? Private guards in Britain cannot simply duplicate every power and resource available to specialists. There may be legitimate concerns, but the public frustration is equally real. Harry and Meghan voluntarily left royal work, signed commercial agreements, and built a private life.
Keeping Harry and Meghan's Montecito mansion is very expensive, even before you factor in security. Property taxes, $152,000 a year. Insurance, $50,000 to $150,000. Landscaping the grounds, up to $150,000. Pool and spa, $20,000. Housekeeping and property staff, up to $200,000. Repairs and maintenance, $250,000. Utilities, $40,000 to $80,000. The estimated mortgage, $516,000 a year. That puts the potential cost of maintaining the Montecito estate at roughly $1 to $1.5 million a year, including the estimated mortgage, and that doesn't include their security costs. They are broke, and there is no way they can keep the house.
If they return without resuming public duties, many people will ask why taxpayers should support the personal arrangement they chose. Suggestions that the cost could reach millions will only intensify that anger. Ordinary families facing high bills may hear that a wealthy couple maintaining connections to properties in California, Britain, and Portugal could receive publicly funded protection. They will remember years of criticism directed at Britain, and they are unlikely to welcome a grand return accompanied by a security convoy paid for by everyone else.
It's good to see Harry and Meghan achieve 6 full tax years of non-UK residency to manage the temporary non-resident rules for capital gains tax. They have clearly had some good tax advice, and the timing of the move back to the UK is immaculate. Now, that is because HMRC, that's like the tax man here in the UK, has a rule designed to stop wealthy Brits scooting abroad, cashing in their assets and strolling back home. It's called the temporary non-residence rule, and it means that if you leave the UK and come back within 5 years, you never really left for tax purposes as far as capital gains are confirmed. But if you stay out for more than 5 years, which in practice means 6 complete calendar years, you're golden. Now look at the Sussex calendar. They left in March 2020, just before the tax year ended on the 5th of April. They have now been non-resident for, surprise, the requisite 6 full tax years.
This is where the polished comeback story meets reality. Harry may be seeking royal-level protection without returning to royal responsibility. Meghan may want access to British opportunities without facing British scrutiny. Together, they may hope to enjoy the visibility of returning royals while continuing to call themselves private citizens. But the palace already rejected a half-in, half-out arrangement. The royal family problem could be even more explosive.
Those are resources that could be used for people that commit their lives, dedicate their lives to your country and to the safety of your country and to the betterment of your country. And Harry and Meghan just want to dip in and out whenever they feel like they need a little royal electricity.
King Charles reportedly heard about the plans shortly before they became public, but he was not presented as the person organizing the return. If that is accurate, Harry and Meghan may be positioning themselves close to the monarchy without any properly negotiated palace role. They are not returning as working royals, trust has not been fully repaired, and William's relationship with his brother remains badly damaged. That creates the possibility of a rival Sussex operation on British soil.
Everything, and Spotify was supposed to have been Harry and Meghan, and it failed miserably when it was just Meghan. Everything with Netflix has failed except for their 6-part We Were So Miserable, and we were the victims of a serious racist family and a terrible British racist people, all of whom now they're rushing back to.
They could live near the royal world, retain their titles, attract relentless coverage, attend carefully selected events, and promote commercial projects without answering to palace officials. Every private detail reaching the press would cause suspicion. Every statement involving Charles or William would reopen questions about confidential family conversations. The palace could be forced to answer to people it cannot control. That may explain why the warnings about their reception sound so severe. Britain in 2026 is not the Britain they left 6 years earlier.
Harry and Meghan are completely unpredictable. And, you know, it's like Harry saying he's looking forward to going to Ukraine again soon. You know, why? Because you choose to put yourself in these positions. First of all, who are you representing when you go to Ukraine? But when you put yourself in these positions, why are other people, dangerous positions, why are other people expected to pay to keep you safe? You are the consequences have, you know, actions have consequences. If you are going to put yourself in those difficult positions, then you should have to deal with how to protect yourself and what the consequences are.
The public has now seen the interviews, the streaming series, the allegations, the memoir, and the repeated commercial use of royal conflict. Meghan may believe a new job or immaculate appearance can reset the story. Harry may hope being closer to his father will soften the anger. A flight back to London, however, cannot erase everything that happened after they left. Recent polling has indicated that only a small minority want them restored to official royal duties.
They have to live just like any other citizen.
It means returning privately is not the same thing as receiving public applause, taxpayer-funded protection, unrestricted palace access, or a renewed royal position. If Harry and Meghan mistake the freedom to come back for widespread forgiveness, the reaction could be immediate and unforgiving. Meghan would face the harshest examination of all. She has repeatedly described the damage she believes British media attention caused her.
They gave up their royal duties. They left the country. They decided to turn their back on the royal family and indeed the country when they left. And it's obviously their prerogative to come back to the UK if they wish to. But why should the UK taxpayer pick up the burden of making sure their security is paid for? Absolutely not.
How would she respond to an environment that is now even more doubtful of her motives? If the scrutiny felt unbearable before, what happens when the new comeback begins beneath questions about money, protection, career ambitions, and the state of her marriage? That may be why California remains her most attractive option. In Montecito, Meghan controls the backdrop, limits her public appearances, and protects the identity she created after royal life.
Like, they're just very delusional, and I think we watch and we're just kind of obsessed with the fact that they just lack any and all sense of reality.
She can allow Harry to confront the British storm and join him only when a valuable opportunity makes it worthwhile. This is not a married couple beginning one united chapter. It is two people constructing separate exits. Harry's path appears to lead toward the Cotswolds, his father, Invictus, and the royal landscape he once rejected. Meghan's leads back toward Montecito, American commerce, and the independent world she tried to create beyond the palace.
But taxpayers, British taxpayers, should foot the bill, the £5 million a year bill for Harry, Meghan and their kids' security.
Between those paths sit an unresolved immigration controversy, a furious protection battle, several costly homes, and a marriage that may soon depend on flights, phone calls, and carefully coordinated appearances. The real possibilities are far more dramatic. Is Harry going home while Meghan is quietly left behind? Is she remaining in America because Britain has already made clear that her comeback is not wanted?
He's burnt his bridges so many times with the royal family. You know, he needs to live his own life, how he wants to live it. And I think unfortunately, it takes up too much press time. It takes up too much security. So yeah, he's not doing himself any favours.
Or are they testing what separate lives would feel like before admitting that the Sussex partnership no longer has a single destination? There is no official confirmation that Harry will be required to leave the United States, and no proof that Meghan intends to live apart from him permanently. But the shape of their own reported plans has created the crisis. Harry appears serious about building a substantial future in Britain. Meghan's participation seems dependent on work.
It's hard to believe that either of them are having the most brilliant time if they've reached a stage where their business has failed so badly that they've had to go back on everything that they said they were leaving the United Kingdom.
America no longer looks like their unquestioned shared home, while Britain is offering no united royal restoration. They left the palace in pursuit of freedom. Now Harry may need the country he rejected. Meghan dreamed of constructing an American empire. Now she may be forced to defend that dream by herself.
This pair of ingrates, Harry and Meghan, have plunged the royal family into an existential crisis.
If he chooses the old country while she refuses to surrender the new one, the greatest danger to their marriage may not be a damaging headline, an immigration dispute, or another palace door closing in their faces. It may simply be the Atlantic Ocean and the two separate lives already taking shape on opposite sides of it.
Thomas Markle would love a phone call too. It's interesting that we're pandering to the father figure that has the fortune and that has the social ranking.
If you enjoyed this video and want even more royal family content, don't forget to check out my Patreon. I'm uploading exclusive investigations, bonus content, and members-only videos that won't be released on YouTube. I'll be adding new content regularly. If you'd like to support the channel and get access to everything, the link is in the description. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.